weather was so bad for a sad summer. Because who knows when hot milk is going to come back over.
Yeah, you guys should have just went. Should have just went. FOMO now. FOMO.
Well, see, y'all are lucky. That summer goes to Austin, and it doesn't come to Houston. So I missed it entirely, which was kind of a bummer because I was excited to see. I was excited to see the main, um, and I love the main. I definitely started getting into Daisy Grenade a little bit, and then Hot Milk has been a band that I found during the pandemic. Um, so I would have loved to see them live, but
Same, same. They called, so ours was this past Tuesday. Um, and they were playing in Buffalo, New York, and they were calling for like 2 to 3 inches of rain. The venue didn't allow umbrellas. Um, and the none of the venue was covered. So I'm like, do I want to drive 2.5 hours? Because I was going for Daisy Grenade, uh, Diva Bleach, and Hot Milk, essentially, is who I really wanted to see. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be there for 2 hours, a total of 5 hours of driving in the rain. But yeah, no, I found Hot Milk during the pandemic too. As a matter of fact, I love getting to show it, Jess. I've got a Hot Milk tattoo.
oh, sorry. So
All good.
fucking with this camera thing is driving me absolutely bonkers. I'm so like I'm so bad at this.
No, I didn't
Um,
go to Sad Summer either.
really, why not?
Uh, it was on a Friday and I had to work. I couldn't get off work.
Uh,
Yeah. It's
uh,
it's tough. It's like when tours come through, I really hope they come on like a Saturday or a Sunday. And I hope they come
really,
to
so
Milwaukee because if they go to
yeah,
Chicago, that's like a 2 hour drive. And I'm like, I can't do that, especially during the day, like the weekday.
yeah. Like, and there's, I guess there's no PTO or no care in place for any of the stuff that you got to do during the week. So all the must dos are like, if the stars don't align, it's not happening.
I think all workplaces should give us all extra vacation days to go to concerts. That's what I think.
Concert
Uh,
days.
Concert days.
honestly, see, modern problems require modern solutions, and you have effectively nailed it. Like, do you realize how nice it would be if I could like take time off of my retail job and be like, all right, let's go on tour for
Right.
2 months and still come back as with nothing wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, like I love the normal job that I have. Like, it's probably the best thing that I got professionally that I have going on. But oh man, it'd be so nice. It'd be so nice.
Yeah.
Um, but I think so. Just so I can give you a status update, like the my bassist is experiencing some technical difficulties, but he'll hop on in a little bit. So just in the interest of time, I don't like we can go ahead and just kind of jump in, and we'll see where the other members pop in. I anticipate Lucy, but I just haven't heard anything back, and I don't want to waste y'all's time. So if you're cool with just moving forward, I'm good to go.
What do you think, Chris? Should we just move forward?
I'm good with that. We can have a mid-episode jump in. I have no problem with that.
We've had other people, I feel like,
Come
pop
and go.
on, but
Yeah.
not super late. But we have had people pop on, and we've actually had people have to leave. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just one of like so I'm a real like I try to be super organized with like all things. So I'm like the kind of guy who's like I'll send calendar invites, I'll send reminders, I'll send links. Like I am like
yeah.
that's my I won't say like OCD, but that's definitely a type A sort of thing that I have going on where I'm just like, nope, everything is organized to the letter. And so when
Yeah.
I
For the
yeah,
most part, Chris and I are organized, aren't we, Chris?
Yeah, for the most part. I have a question about that though, right? So you're like that now. How are you in school?
school like I was actually a fairly average student. Like I was not really studious or organized or anything like that. Like I think it kind of came really from just I don't know, I care about this a fuck ton. Like I I love
We're all
my
coming
band.
at once.
Yeah, I love my band. I'm a high key obsessed with it. So that's because I care about it so much. That's where I'm like, nope. I will if I have to be the kind of the administrator and the operations guy for the group, then like that's what I'll be because I just want this to work.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? I'm finally here. How's it going?
Hello.
Hey,
Yep, everyone popped on while we were chit-chatting a little longer.
I love it. Welcome back, Mark. Okay, wet luck come through.
Yeah, dude, I just got home and I was like, man, I gotta squeeze in a shower real quick, download Zoom, and be ready.
Yeah.
Well, you look amazing. You look dynamite, buddy.
Thank you. I could not find any clothes because I am not at my normal place. So,
Oh,
That's okay.
you're still in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, still in
Ooh.
Oklahoma.
Ah, nice.
It's all right.
Okay, downgraded to just all right. He's like, this whole state could be described as mid.
I've never been like out west very far. I went to Colorado once, but that was like way back in the day, and it was for a wedding.
Colorado's beautiful. Like
It is.
it is straight up gorgeous. Like I absolutely like if I could live anywhere else, like Colorado would probably be it.
I do love
Like
me
Denver would be it.
for sure.
Denver's lit.
Yeah.
All right, well
And
now everyone's here.
yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so your typical first question is, could you introduce yourselves and give us a rundown of how Haunter came to be in existence?
Yes.
Okay. Lucy, you have the floor.
All right. I'm Lucy, and I'm the vocalist of Haunter. Nice to meet you guys.
What's going on? I'm Enoma. I am the guitarist and the founder of Haunter.
I am Mark and I play bass.
All right. So our origin story, as it were. So it kind of came together really weirdly. Like, so I was playing in a band a couple of years ago, and we put on a show at House of Blues, and we actually ended up booking Lucy's old band to play the show with us. It went incredibly well. Like it was a great show. Like lots of people like it everyone walked away feeling really good about the show. But I kind of knew like in the beginnings like that there was something I wanted to do outside of my old band. So like on the side, I hit Lucy up and I was like, oh, you're mad cool. Like I really like what you do. She was super nice about it. Like she handed me her business card and the band CD, and I just kind of put it in my back pocket and didn't really think about it up until maybe like a year or two later when the band that I put on that show with, like the gears for that one started to slow down and things weren't feeling really good. So we decided to just kind of end it. But as it was ending, I started working on a bunch of songs with a friend of mine in town, and I didn't have a name for the project. I didn't really know what it was going to be, but I knew I just wanted some different type of energy around it. Like I wanted something that felt like the exact opposite of what I was in at the time, which was, a talented band, but like when you think of all the trappings of, the quote unquote band dude, like we were a walking cliche at the time. So I definitely wanted something different. And then one of the first people that came to mind for me was Lucy, because I remember just being really blown away by her talent. Like out the gate, I was like, wow, like she can sing. Like, and it's not like, oh, I can carry a tune. Like, no, she was born to do this. So it just kind of made
Wow.
sense. It made sense. And, I had made friends with the producer in LA. So I was like, I really just randomly, this is the truth. I hit Lucy up and I was like, hey, I know we met like a year or two ago. I know you don't know me, but I'm gonna go to LA in a few months to go work with this producer. Would you be willing to fly to LA and come write songs with us? And it just kind of worked out. The rest was history. We were fortunate enough to come across Mark because the band that I made friends with that had the producer in it. He played in a band called Danger Kids, and Mark knew their merchandise manager. And so when I started telling him that I was forming a band, he was like, "Oh, you should hit up my buddy Mark." And I don't know, we met, we hung out, and it was just kind of like instant chemistry. Like I feel like Mark just got it. Like he was just one of those dudes who was just like, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but if you say you want to try it, I'm down for it. And we just kind of, I like to use the term, build the plane as we fly. But but for some reason it's worked out and it's felt pretty good.
And curious, what kind of bands were you in prior?
I was in a metal band, and Anoma was in a pop punk band. So kind of same for him, completely opposite for me. So
And what made you choose the name Haunter?
Anoma was going nice. What's it called? Sleep paralysis at the time, and I'll let him tell that story. But from that, basically, yeah, it's not a great story, but that boy was being haunted. We're like, you know what? Make it into a band.
Basically, so right around the time like I decided like, oh, I want to start this new project. Like with my old band kind of falling apart, and that I'd given like 10 years of my life to that band. Like I really did everything I could to try to make that a success. And we were fortunate enough to have some some minor success here and there. We did some cool things. But I'd given so much of myself to that. And so like I was really struggling with my identity. Like who the hell was I if I wasn't this dude in this band? Like my whole like all of my 20s and in a portion of my 30s were really dedicated to trying to make this thing like happen. So once that was out of my life, like I really was struggling like mentally for a while. And so I would get sleep paralysis. Like I would just kind of wake up, like be conscious, know that I'm awake, but could not move my body at all. And this would happen like frequently, at least once or twice a week for the span of a couple of months. And so in those times, like I would just sit there and just kind of be trapped in thought. And so I'd go over every mistake that I had made, like every like wrong decision I made in the band, like just all sorts of stuff. Like it's weird when you're trapped in your own body and you can't do anything, you're left with nothing but time to think. And so it just kind of felt like all of these ideas, all these things that were happening to me, it just kind of felt like I was being haunted. Like I was just kind of at the mercy of whatever force is keeping me in between being awake and conscious and being able to control like my body and my thoughts. So I got with Aaron one day and I was kind of telling him the story, and I was like, you know what? I think through this I found the name for the band, and the name Haunter really stuck out. And I was like, okay, cool. I like that idea. I like the concept. I like it because it's relevant to what I'm going through right now, and it kind of stuck with me. And then when I started sharing the band name, that's when my friend just very plainly told me one day, he's like, "Hey, dude, you know that's the name of a Pokemon, right?"
Mm.
And I did not. I did not, but I was already locked in. So, I mean, there's no going back. I already like paid for the website, so that ship sailed. So we were locked in on Haunter, and fortunately for me, no one else in the band put up a fight to change the name.
Yes, it is a Pokemon.
Yeah, I said, you know that's a Pokemon, but then I realized that he's like 10 plus years older than me. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you think I would have known that, but no, I was just committing to the bit.
You just look so You know, he got that good skin. So I thought he was like 12 years younger than he was, honestly. Like I was like,
Yeah, no.
that was my first comment. I was like, I like it, it's cool, but it's also a Pokemon. Like name this band like, I don't know, something crazy like Charizard. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, no, I didn't like no. If we were going to be any other Pokemon, it would have been Mewtwo because goaded, goaded Pokemon right there. See, I know that one. Didn't know Haunter, but we're
Well, I
locked in.
mean,
Like
there is a lot of Pokemon out there, so
that is also true.
a new one's
Yeah,
being
no,
made, I
that.
swear, every year.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And you would think like I love video games and I love anime. Like you would think I would be more on top of that, but no, and it came out during my generation, but like it's just not something that I super connected with. But love the name, so thanks, Pokemon Company, I guess.
Maybe you secretly knew who Haunter was, and that's why it came to you in your mind.
You know what? There it is. That's it's Inception. Like they planted the idea, it was locked in, and just it just needed the right avenue. So yeah, we're locked in on the name. But yeah, that's it's kind of the high level overview of how this all came together.
Mhm.
Well, it's an interesting story, honestly. I mean, you had like a 10 years in another band and then met someone and met another person. I mean, that's kind of how it works, though.
Yup.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of times it's all just kind of like everyone sort of meets through all these. It's all network. It's all like friend of a friend. Oh, I know this person. I know that person. Oh, that person's cool. Y'all should hang out. And then we all just kind of like started hanging out together. And we realized, oh, this all kind of works.
Right.
It's all just kind of feels kind of good. So let's just kind of roll with it.
Yup.
Yeah. So you guys say on your Spotify bio that you're all former emo kids, but are any of us really former emos, though?
Yeah, I don't think it ever goes away.
No, no, no. It is truly a way of life because I am a sad boy, like forever and ever. Yeah,
Maybe we need to
yeah.
update it from former to forever.
There you go.
Marcus, I love that idea. I love that idea. I love like I'm after this podcast. I'm going into our Spotify to change that because that's a hell yeah, dude. I love that.
Hell yeah.
That's a
Forever
solid
emo
idea.
kids. I feel like we
Yeah,
all are, though. I mean, once an emo, always an emo. I don't care what anyone
Yeah, as
says.
soon as you said that, as soon as you said former, I was like, yeah, I don't think it ever really leaves. So well, we need to change that to forever.
yeah. And I was like, as I noticed her the story of the year poster, I'm like,
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
clock that.
Hell yeah.
Which, by the way, God, does that band rip? They're so fucking good.
Yeah, they've been my favorite band since like 2001.
Nice. I love hell yeah.
I was a
Okay.
fan of them before they were Story of the Year, so
Oh, okay. What was her name before? It was something like
it was Big Blue
Philly.
Monkey.
Yep,
Oh,
that was
But they
it.
were also, wasn't it like 54 North, Chris, right?
hmm
Yeah, they were
Yep.
also 54 North once as well.
Oh man, remember
I
when bands had a bunch of numbers in their names?
Hmm.
Or what a time. We were really locked in on that. Or when everyone would just start using instead of using like vowels in their names, it was all just consonants.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Which was like cool for a little bit, but then it just became very confusing because there's only so many letters, and so everything started kind of mashing together.
So actually, speaking of consonants for vowels, your Spotify bio also says you pull sonically from artists such as Paris and Churches, both using those V's instead of U's. Could you actually fill us in on some of your favorite tracks by them?
Oh yeah, I mean, if it's churches, there's so many. But I'll start with Graffiti is probably my favorite one. I think that one kind of directly inspired our song Untouchable. Also, Good Girl. I love their new album Scream Violence. It's probably my favorite of theirs. But California is a really great song. Clearest Blue. What is it? Never Ending Circles is such a fucking crazy good song. As far as Paris, what was it? It was their second record. Was What's Wrong? Was like my favorite track off that record, and that actually was like a huge inspiration for our song Paralyze. Like in fact, like I know when I went to Tyler and we were just kind of like finding songs that were in a vein or kind of captured a vibe that we liked. Like I think that was actually one of the first songs I played for him, and I was like, oh, like he knew Paris, but I was like, yo, let's dissect this and see if there's a way for us to bring that kind of energy into this track. At least
Yeah,
that's those are the ones for me. Like I love both those bands, but those are some of my favorites just off the top of the dome.
Yeah, like I've especially like we were talking about before we got started, since the pandemic, I've gotten into more, I guess what I'll call like emo pop, if you will. So like Churches, Paris, I guess she kind of qualifies, Meg Myers, Hot Milk, like all those. And when I found Churches, I think the first song I heard was Bury It, where it was featuring Haley Williams.
Oh yeah, that song fucking rips.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That and Leave a Trace are probably some of my favorite Churches songs.
Ooh, Leave a Trace is the good ones. Okay, so like Every Open Eye was probably that was their second record. So like, okay, cool. Like yeah, I really like that one because when I first heard of Churches, it was their first record, and I can't remember what it's called, but I feel like it's called The Mother We Share. No,
Yeah.
it was some,
White Noise.
that was
Wait, no.
no, that's Paris.
Oh,
Paris is
sorry.
white. Paris was White Noise, but Churches was I can't remember the name of their first record, but I know the track The Mother We
Every
Share.
Open Eye.
It looks like, well, yeah, that was their first
Full,
no, it
full length.
was The Bones of What You
The
something.
Bones of What You Believe.
There you go.
The Bones of What You Believe. But The Mother We Share was the first track on that record. So that song slaps. Recover off that record is great too. Like if we're talking bands, like I'll go in. I love this shit.
Oh yeah. Chris and I are always talking bands. I mean, we kind of have to.
I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
true.
I've recently pulled her over onto the Hot Milk train a little bit. So
I wasn't a huge fan of them right away, but then like they started popping up on my like super mix on YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I like this song, and I've kind of liked a few songs now. So
and did you say it was Breathing Underwater
yeah, I love
that
that
got
song.
you into it?
So
I'm about
for me, it was Glass Spiders for me.
Yeah.
Fucking sick ass song. God,
I
that
love-
was so good.
I love how catchy Are You Feeling Alive feels too. It's like
Oh,
it's a pretty
totally.
dark song but it's so poppy and catchy. I love it.
yeah, but Mark and Lou said I personally like I know those were some of the songs that I loved from Paris and from Churches, but I'd love to hear like y'all take.
I remember hearing the Love Is Dead album.
That's just-
and
Ooh.
I'm terrible with song names.
I don't remember exactly what song there. We were in LA and you were like, oh yeah, you gotta hear this song. And I was like, damn, who is this? And you were like, Churches. And I was like, damn, like I have not heard this song, but like, man, this song's good. I was looking at it trying to find it, and I just honestly
I hate when that happens.
out.
When you know
like,
a song, but you don't know the title of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I can hear the beat, and like I can hear all the synths, and I can hear her voice, but it's like, dude, I don't remember any of the words.
You want to sing it out? You can.
Let's not say we did.
I am
so
not the singer. I play bass.
I legitimately think it may have been Graffiti because I was really I was campaigning super hard.
I would,
use that
yeah,
as an
I
inspiration
would believe
track.
that.
Because that was the one I was like because there's some like when we record like I'll sit there and like we'll all just kind of like talk about songs that we're kind of feeling, things that we're really inspired by at the moment, and we build like a playlist And so I'll be like, cool, this is just kind of the general vibe. These are all just kind of like different energies that we kind of want to tap into. And I really do. If I remember the time that we were in LA, like I do think that was the song because I was kind of obnoxious about it. And I have to apologize. I feel like my bandmates sometimes get sick of me just throwing bands at them because I'm always listening for stuff, always looking for stuff. So I feel bad. I send Lucy at like 2 or 3 in the morning. I will send her like a band that I just started digging into. I'll be like, oh, I really like their vibe, as if she's awake. She's a normal person who sleeps regular hours. My weird ass is up just scouring the internet for shit. And I'm just like, oh, this is cool. My friend will definitely appreciate this text at 3 in the morning.
And I wake up and then I'm like, oh shit, this slaps. So thank you. The early morning slappies. It's a nice thing to wake up to. So I don't mind at all.
And
Yeah.
curious, have you checked out Lauren Mayberry's single, like her solo project at all?
I have. I'll be honest. I need to give it more attention because initially it didn't grab me right away. Because I think at least it seems like with this project, like it seems a bit more like, I won't say like out there, but I think it's less formulaic in the ways that like Churches definitely has like pop structure to their writing. Like they do their things where they go a little left of center or go far in one direction or the other. But her solo stuff, at least the stuff that I heard, the first single, was a really sleepy one, and so it just didn't like grab me in the way that I was hoping for. But I also have to understand that she is a part of Churches. She is not Churches in and of itself. So her stuff is going to fundamentally, and I'm pretty sure by intention, be different. And so I just need to kind of embrace that part of it, and I'm sure I'll find something that I like.
Can confirm it was Get Out.
Get Out.
That's a great song.
That's also a banger. Also a banger. But Paris, like I feel you said White Noise was the album that you were digging, right, Mark?
That's their
Yes.
first record.
That when that one came out, I was pretty like I get I don't know if blown away is the right word, but it was cool to like I don't know, like you can't compare them to Paramore, but like I felt like it was like a new Paramore. It was like, oh, this is good, but this is different from them. This is kind of like that more like dark pop. And
Yeah, like if Paramore went to like a goth club,
yeah,
that's what you got with the first Paris record.
My House and Fire were my favorite songs on that first record.
Excellent song.
Yeah. Oh, My House is fucking awesome. And then I remember, dude, it's so funny. I'm thinking about the scene at the time, like when Paris started really blowing up. And like, in fact, Lynn Gunn, I think what happened was when I first found out about them, they were playing Warped Tour and they were playing literally down the street from my house. And I think that was the day that Lynn actually publicly came out. And like, a lot of my friends made Lynn their entire personality for a very long time. Like the girlies and the gays were here for it. 100%.
Yes, I love
100%.
Well, now talking more about Haunter and getting on the Haunter subject. What is your guys' writing process and what inspires you to write the songs you have produced?
So whenever we go to write, they usually stay, which is Mike, Mark, Enoma, they will go over to LA for 2 whole weeks. So for the first week that they are there without me, they basically get ideas for instrumentals. We might have some like pre-production tracks that are just like really simplified versions of kind of the vibe that we're going for. We just kind of get like a basic energy going. And just like kind of, I'm not gonna say simple, like it's semi-produced, but like, empty enough to where we can still change things or, the formula of the song, we can still switch it around. And in the second week, so then the instrumentals are done-ish, more or less. We've got the vibe of every song down. And then when I come in, basically we listen to it again all together, and then I start writing down like a lot of keywords of like the emotion of kind of the vibe that I get out of the song. So if it's like a sexy song or like a bittersweet song, or if I'm getting like a love feeling or some kind, you know, whatever I'm feeling, I'll write down different just notes of like cloudy, moody, you know, whatever the vibe is. Of course, I'm an artist, so I'm coming up with like real weird descriptive words or whatever, but it helps me get into the mood of the song. And I'll write down some like little phrases I think might work with it or whatever. And usually it's kind of cool. They have like working titles that don't always stick. Like sometimes it's completely different and you know, it's like a working title until we have the lyrics done or whatever. But there's been a couple of times that they're like, this is the working track name, and then we actually end up like using that as the inspiration for the entire song. But we were literally like build around that, which is great. So usually, yeah, the first week is them with the instrumentals, and I just come in, and usually I would come in and not hear the songs at all until I landed and flew in, and then would be in the studio, and I'm like, oh shit, like hearing it for the very first time. So I love the challenge of like getting to listen to it for the first time in the studio, like with everyone, and just being like, okay, that way I immediately get like whatever the true vibe is, like whatever that first inclination that I get of like what the song should be about, or like the energy or the vibe of the song. That's like 95% of the time what we gear it towards, and it's worked out. So luckily everyone is really good at writing all kinds of instruments. I mean, maybe not like, you know, super proficiently, but I know enough like mouth guitar to say, can we do a little bit of woo woo or whatever? So, you know, a lot of mouthing instrument things to make it work. Because I'm not a genius, I just be singing. Go in with a very basic idea. Second week is like lyrics and vocals and melodies and all that good stuff. So luckily I have plenty of help with all of that, and everyone always has like really great ideas for like really catchy little catchy lines and things that'll make people go, oh, they said that, which I love. So it's worked out so far. It's worked out really well.
I definitely say it's worked out. I mean, Chris and I really enjoyed all the songs we listened to of your guys already. So
Thank you very much. Say the next one we
thanks.
get more and more sassy. So I hope you like it.
yeah. Actually, when I was listening to your music, the song Untouchable had the lyrics Risk It All in it. And then there's a song called Risk It All. And I was like, is it a coincidence or are they connected somehow?
It's on
purpose. Yeah, definitely on purpose.
Yep.
Definitely on purpose.
We wanted to reference back to it and, you know, make sure that everybody knew that we know that we've grown since then. So we wanted to put that in an even bigger song, basically reference back to it. Like we're like another step up every time we release something. So very, very grateful for that. We had to call back to it. So.
Well, I'm glad I caught it.
Yeah, glad you did too. You're the first to get out.
I was literally about to say that. I was like, you may be the only person who's gotten that. And bless you for it, because I was like, oh man, I really wish people would understand some of the Easter eggs, because we be doing stuff just for the lore, and like I'm just God, please let someone just get it.
Why can't music have Easter eggs? I mean, Jeeps have Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Wait, they do?
Yes. You've never knew that? All Jeeps have like some like lizard or something hidden in their like in their vehicle somewhere.
That's so crazy.
What?
I've heard that.
Like, you're blowing my mind with this. I heard about the duck thing, which, no offense to Jeep owners, that's weird as hell. But
behind me today was a dozen of them on the dash. Like I can see in my rear view, and I was like, "What is that fucking duck?" And it was ducks. There's like literally a dozen of them just like lined up on the dash there.
I mean, at least they're rubber duckies, so chances of you getting murdered by a duck if you got in an accident are, you know, slim.
Not zero.
Never zero.
But not zero.
No. But now the Subaru people are fighting back, and they've started Moo Moo Subaru, and they're leaving each other cows on
Really?
Subarus. Yeah.
I've never heard of that, but I love it.
I, I I also
You have a
have a
duck.
rubber duck. I do.
Yes.
Yeah, and now that you said this, now that you said this about the whole killing thing, I don't really trust this bastard anymore. I'm just going to set him down over here, and if you see me glancing over there, it's because
Keeping an eye on that duck.
Yeah.
watch it, buddy.
He's looking shady in his little beanie.
I
I know.
know. No, this. Oh my! You know what I just realized? He looks like a fuckboy. The beanie and the shades, like this is a city boy if I have ever seen one.
Oh, what great timing.
Right? I just thought, man, that's oh my god, that's fucking
This is
silly.
great. I love this. This is so much fun.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
So, what are some unique advantages in writing the music that you do in a group of people basically influenced by pop punk, emo, and metal?
Oh, man.
Well, I think for us, it just lets us be kind of fearless, like in a way, like we're embracing all of these different influences, and we've just kind of gotten to a place where we can kind of do whatever we want. Like there's no rules, there's no one that we have to answer to outside of ourselves. We are fortunate enough to have not only really talented people in the band, but have an amazing producer and co-writer with us in Tyler, who really does just kind of embraces the just the concept of just trying whatever comes to mind and not running away from an idea unless it doesn't serve the song. In fact, I mean, what was one of his sayings? It was "Dare to suck" was kind of like one of the first like Tyler sayings that I think we all really kind of embraced. Because before, we've all been in bands, and so you'd be in the studio, you only have so many hours to get so much stuff done. So if you were not at your best that day, like there'd be all this pressure. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're wasting all of our time, man. You're wasting all this money." But like Tyler was just like, "No, we'll work it till the song is done, and just embrace it. Don't censor yourself. Don't be like, oh no, it's a bad idea. Just say it. Fucking say it, because you never know if it may not be your idea, but your idea may prompt somebody else to have a spark and be like, oh, maybe not that exactly what you said, Enoma, but here's something else that's kind of like that still gets the same point across. Like I think a perfect example of that is like Lucy and I. So her, myself, and Tyler, we write a lot of the lyrics together, and so there'll be times where like her and Tyler are really like locked in, and they've got this really great vibe going, and I'll throw something in there, and it may not be the right cadence, but the general idea is there. And a lot of times, like I won't necessarily get shamed for it. They'll be like, "Hey, like we like the concept, so we like the direction it's going, but it's not fully baked. So let's hope you get it there." And vice versa. There'll be times where Lucy will throw something out or Tyler will throw something out, and we're like, "Ooh, it's almost there." But like if we just take a minute or two and really work it collectively, we're gonna find the line right there, and it's gonna hit all the quadrants and scratch all the itches that we have. And it feels really good to be in an environment that's so collaborative, because that's not something that I've had before in a band. So to have that now, like, feels so good.
Chris
thought I
is
saw-
sleeping.
No, I thought I saw Lucy talking, but she's muted.
Yeah, I was.
There's like noise going on, so I'm not trying to be all loud on here. But yeah, I was basically just saying that we do whatever we want, and that's my favorite thing to do, so it makes me very happy. Yeah, we can't really go wrong. We just throw out any ideas that we have, and all the inspiration that we've had being in bands that give us like, either too much freedom or too many limitations. Now there's like no fear of basically what to say, or if an idea is like bad or not, because you know sometimes you might think it's bad and then the whole room is like, oh shit, you know, like you can be totally wrong. So we just, like you know, said, we do have the saying of like dare to suck, you know, and the other one is to be good at anything you have to suck a whole lot first, you know, like you're not just gonna immediately be good at anything unless you're just like a savant. So we throw out whatever ideas we can to make the best song possible, and nothing is a bad idea. So it's a lovely, really free way to write songs for sure.
Yeah. And Mark brings in his sweet bass riffs.
Oh yeah.
All the time. The
See, the thing is, Mark is quietly the glue that holds this all together. Like, and this is no cap. Like, there's so like because so Lucy and I tend to kind of be the ones that people like identify with on social media. Like, I'm chronically online, and Lucy, because she is the front person for the band, like there's a lot of visibility on the two of us. But what they don't see is Mark, who helps me get so much of this stuff done. Like, perfect example is like we're building our live rig because we want to start playing shows and possibly doing some touring. And he has been the one who's kind of really taken on that responsibility because that's a whole different skill set. It's one that I don't possess. So I hand it to him. I'm like, hey buddy, I'll help you like put together and pay for the stuff, but like you're gonna do this and I'm just gonna show up and plug in my guitar stuff. And then I hope it works because I don't know what I'm doing. You know, so Mark is my go-to.
So far it's worked.
Yeah, we're again building the plane as we fly, but Mark is the go-to guy. Like when something needs to get done, like Mark is quietly the guy I count on to make it happen.
Thank you.
No, let me flip that question around. So you described advantages there. Have there been any learning curves due to those previous limitations that you had to work through as a band?
Oh, I will start with the very first time that we were recording. I was so used to having like live drums and a whole guitar setup with like an Axe Effects or a Kemper or whatever, and all the knobs and all the things. And there wasn't that. It's all Tyler producing it. And so I got there and I just see, I'm like, all of this is being done on a DAW, like on, you know, Pro Tools or whatever. And I was just like, why is there no like live drums here? There's no drum kit. There's no like, I was upset. Like I legitimately was like, this is all just on a fucking computer. Like I was like, music, like I come from like a very heavy like deathcore metal background and then also like progressive metal as well. So I'm very much into like the actual like instrumentation and people like tapping and sweeping and you know gravity blasts and all this cool like shit that I'm just like obsessed with. And so to go and do something that's like the complete opposite of that to where everything is like I'm not going to say automated, but just like on a system that's it just works much differently with pop and with synth stuff than it is with actual like live instruments. So to me, I literally was like, am I still like a musician at this point? Like, I had to like really like rack my brain for that first trip of being like, is this okay? Like, is this like all right? I felt like guilty or something that I wasn't like writing these fucking phenomenally like deep, you know, poignant lyrics or whatever. Like I'm like a sad poet and I just write like horribly deep shit, you know, that's like very wordy or whatever. And so going from like instrumentation that's super heavy, just you know, whatever, and me writing these like, oh, so deep, beautiful poetry, and then going to like the exact opposite, and it's like, City Boys and Pretty Girl, you know, it's just like very
We
much
only use 4 chords.
so it was, yeah, so it was just literally like a huge, like big fat change for me. And I had to really think, I was like, okay, like there's, you know, who else does it this way? And I just like looked into bands that were, you know, creating kind of the same stuff at the time. And I was like, oh shit, like everyone does it like this. Like I just wasn't aware, honestly, that like this is just how it works. I was still, you know, I had only been in metal bands. I had never been in another band other than metal projects. So I just was going into it like, this is like not not what I'm used to. And it was very surprising to me that it was just all done on a computer. But then when I hear it back and, you know, of course, like still playing guitar, still playing bass, whatever, but just to see it like mostly being done on a computer was like somewhat to me offensive at first, just like coming from a progressive metal background, you know. So for me, I was a little worried at first, but then I hear how actual drum tones come out and cymbal tones, and I'm like very picky about like the smallest shit like that, guitar tones and whatever, and it's all great. I'm like, this dude just knows what's up. Like, I don't care that there's not a live drum set here because it sounds like there is. Like, it doesn't matter that there's not a physical big ass kit in the room. If you've got, you know, if y'all know anything about like programming or whatever, like GGD, get good drums, like stuff like that. It's so great. And there's no like, it's not, at first I was like, this is cheating. It's not. Like, it's literally just a different and smarter and more economical, honestly, faster, you know, way to do it. So it's definitely, sorry I went out on a spiel there, but I was very first of it. Now I'm very used to it, and I realize that shredding on a whatever instrument you're playing on is not the only proper way to play an instrument or record that instrument. So
Yeah.
now
I, I
It's
I
kind
love
of
that you said that, Lucy.
yeah.
it's kind of funny because you were mentioning like being in a metal band and like they only ever had real drums. But we had a band on Opal and Sky. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Mm-mm.
They're from Canada and they actually do all their drums electronically too. They don't actually have real drums in some of the recordings they did.
I
So
will
it's kind
say
of
now,
funny and they are metal. So that, you know, I was like, oh,
last like 5 years, especially like since the beginning of Haunter, that's like pretty much standard that like most people don't
right.
do. It is a whole, each, you know, cymbal and each like tom has to have its own microphone that's like balanced differently. So it's a whole big ass production just to, I mean, you can have 5 toms and then your kick and then a snare, and it's just, it's so much. So I will say now it's definitely, I would say probably a good like 85% of bands just use programs, which is
Oh yeah.
fine. It sounds good and you don't mute the cymbals too much because that shit makes me bananas. I cannot stand it.
I mean, as
How
long as there's live drums at a live show, we're good, right?
exactly. I'm still, as long as somebody's up there ripping in real life, you know, live, then we're good. Yeah. But yeah, I was a little worried at first. Thank God it worked out, you know. Thank God.
Yeah, you just gotta have to trust the process. Like I think, kind of piggybacking off of what Lucy was saying, like it was a little weird. Most of my other experiences in studios were like, yeah, sit down, tune the guitar for an hour, breaking the strings, and then like you hop in and you start playing around on amps and tones and stuff. And
You
don't
get
get me
it
wrong, all
intonated
that's fun.
before too,
Oh, yes,
so it would be
absolutely.
in perfect tune.
Yep.
Oh my God. And if it, God help you, if you played even the slight, if you were slightly bending a string or bending like a note, or you like misplace a finger on the fretboard, and it's like, cool, that whole take is now garbage.
You know what always
Where,
made me mad
whereas,
about that? Like I would pull up to the studio, I'd pull out my bass, I spent all this money to get it like, perfectly intonated, doing all of that. I'd sit down and play and the guy would be like, man, I really like the sound of the Fender Studio bass better.
No.
All right, dude. I'll get that one.
Like
It's basically the same. It's a jazz bass exactly like mine. It's just like I can't change the tone on it. So he was, oh yeah, we got to use this one. I'm like, oh.
like sick. Thanks.
So now, yes,
yeah,
I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, makes me
yeah.
a
Marcus tells us what to draw on the MIDI grid. That's basically how it gets done now.
Yeah. So we did get a sneak peek of your new song that's coming out, City Boys, Pretty Girls. And I'd have to say it's a fantastic song. And I'm sure people are gonna love it.
Thank you.
Thank
Because
you
I know
so
I
much.
did.
I think it's a
Thank you.
summer here. It feels like
Hell
a,
yeah.
such a perfect song to release like right now because it's just like very upbeat and summery. Like I want to go and just like day drink playing this song. Like it gives me that vibe.
Is there
Is Mark-
anything
Yeah,
you want to tell listeners about the song?
Oh wait, Noma, do you want to tell a short version of the story that inspired this song? There, I will say it's the Hollywood Hills, and there was a mansion involved. So I'll let him.
yeah. So this was, I think it was maybe about 2 years ago when we were in LA working on some new tracks with our producer. We wrapped up. We ended up going to see some friends of ours who happened to be in town playing a show. So get there, hang out. It's kind of whatever. And then they're like, "Hey, there's a party going on in the Hollywood Hills with some people who are at the show. So if y'all want to come slide through and kick it over there, you can." Or like, bet this sounds like a good time. Like we're in LA. We've never been to the Hollywood Hills. We've never been to a mansion party. Sounds good, right? So we hit up the party, and it's just kind of weird. Just the general vibe was weird. I think it had a lot to do with like it felt. I've never seen like a content party before, but it was kind of that vibe where like everyone had their phones and they were all like doing skits and like just being like super hyper like versions of themselves. Like these people were cool, but like it definitely was like the cameras were on, so they were like animated. And me as a natural introvert was not vibing with that at all. Like I super nice people, but I hated every second I was at that house. I was like,
I think
man,
we left,
this
didn't we?
yeah, we left, man. Like because remember we were talking. I was talking to that one dude, and he I can't. God, I really wish I could remember what band he was in. But we started talking for a little bit on the patio because we had the patio that had the view of the hills, gorgeous view. That was fucking that alone was worth it. Um, but I was talking to this guy, and we were just chopping up. He was trying to figure out what I do. I was trying to figure out what he does. Um, and we started talking about TikTok. And back then, like I really wasn't about it. I didn't really care about TikTok, but which was huge mistake. Huge mistake. Definitely wish I would have leaned into that a lot sooner. But the
Probably would
conversation
have
started happening.
shot some content with them that night.
Honestly, yeah, had if I knew then what I know now, you know. Um, but anyway, like we were talking, and he was like, "Oh, how many?" He kind of got to the question. He was starting asking about like, "Oh, so what's your follower count like? Like, how are y'all been growing on TikTok?" And we barely started, so it was like super modest numbers. Like, I don't know, like 2,000, 3,000. And the weirdest thing happened. Like once I told him that, and I just saw this look on his face, like it was genuine interest, genuine like, oh, I want to get to know you. You're real cool. To just like completely deadpan. Like was like checked out of the conversation. Was like, hey man, we'll just keep at it, and just walked away from me. Like we were mid conversation, and he unplugged like that and went away. And that left such a weird taste in my mouth. And that was around the time where I was telling Mark, I was like, man, this place and this party sucks. I want to go. So we left, and then literally the next day, we get into the studio, and I'm like, that shit happened, and I think I know the title for this next song, and I was like, City Boys and Pretty Girls, because that's literally what we found at that party. And I was like, oh, this is too perfect. Like we got to write a song about this. This shit is silly.
Oh man.
I was fortunately at that party. I wish I was. I feel really left out. I was pissed because I woke up and they're like, dude, we're in a mansion. And I was like, fuck you guys. Like, I was so of course, this was in the first week that they were doing like the instrumentals, and I wasn't there. I think it was literally the night before I got there, and I was like, "Are you serious, bro?" Like, of course, it's the night, like the day before I arrived, of course. But yeah, we wanted to write a song about that experience because it is very much like that. It's all about perception and perspective in life, and how cool you are, and how people perceive you online and everything, whether that's how you are in real life or not. And we very much wanted to kind of like kind of poke it with a stick a little bit and laugh at it just because it's like a little goofy. Like it's not that serious. These people are, if they lose their followers or what, they just lose their shit. Like it's just their whole identity is based on like the numbers and the likes and the comments. And it's like we do it, but it's not our personality. As I would think most real bands and real people, don't really depend on that for their source of happiness. But those kind of people that when they hear, you don't have, however many hundreds of thousands of followers or whatever, they're just they're like, yeet, and then like, that's it. We're just not those people. And we kind of wanted to poke fun at those people because it's fun and life isn't that serious. And we're just here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take yourself that serious. You're not that fucking cool, Like, so I wish I was there.
Yeah.
Like, cool things. Have a good night, bro. Like, just like nice,
Yeah,
like,
Chris, if we would have been at that party, we would have told them how many TikTok followers we have, and they would have just like ran.
They would have like thrown us out like physically.
they're
Like
"Go on."
we but even with the podcast, we've had such like an approach of more like organic growth versus like really chasing or like making that content to chase down followers and subscribers. It's just we tried for a little bit, but it's just not us. Like it just it didn't feel real to me.
Yeah. So I think that
to a certain extent, I think that it's like not great. Like I feel, and me and Anoma have realized this with all the content that we've been filming and stuff for City Boys and Pretty Girls. Like when we're having more fun and it feels like less of like a scheduled thing that we're like, okay, I'm gonna say this and then you have to say that. Instead of doing that, we're like, we're just gonna be how we are and just see what happens. Like instead of putting so much pressure on like, okay, people are gonna respond better if I turn my face 20 degrees this way, and then like we know how to do it. Like I know my angles, bitch, but like we don't have to be doing that. Like get people to like communicate with us and build our our little commune of people that like our music and our community that's gonna be supporting us. So we want to be real and just remind people to have fun with your life, not take it so seriously. Like get off of the Instagram and the numbers and all of the things. Like get your serotonin boost like elsewhere. Go outside. Like be with your friends. Like it's not gonna come from this. You know what I mean? Like so we just want people to stop taking shit so seriously and have fun. That's basically the gist of this song. Don't douche and go have fun. Be a real ass bitch. That's it.
That's how we are, Jess, right? I mean, we're just ourselves and we bicker like we may as well be brother and sister.
Right.
Like earlier today, I called her a water buffalo because she was sending me pictures of buffalo. I'm like, that's not a buffalo.
And I said, that's a water
buffalo.
buffalo. And he's like, you're a water buffalo.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm stealing that, by the way. That will be stolen by me.
I think we just have like dad jokes in our heads all the time, Chris.
We do,
Yeah.
but you know what? Like, so I work remotely. I work from home, and like I communicate with everybody from work through Teams, and I'm dad joking all day long. And then there's one guy that I'm pretty close with. I burn him all day long.
I like-
Yeah.
Cool. So there's a lawsuit pending.
Maybe.
Oh,
You're gonna get sued, Chris. You're gonna get sued.
I better stop with the your mom jokes with him then.
First, or the
Yeah, that's
those are bad sometimes. That's what jokes are just really terrible, and I should probably just internalize. That's what she said. I'm like 31, but really like 13 on the inside, honestly.
I'm the same.
yeah.
It has never gone away. Just like the emo, it's here to stay, and so are the your mom jokes, and so are the that's what she said. It's always gonna be.
Oh my gosh, there's so many that's what she says at my job. I work at a thrift store and I price products and then have to unwrap them. And sometimes it'll be like, my coworker will be like, man, this thing's real big. And I'm like, that's what she said. It's so easy to just use that's what she said all the time at my job.
Bro, with tattooing,
Oh my god.
so many. Like we have to like hang the needle out a certain length, you know, and I gotta be like, oh, I gotta hang it out a little bit more.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, suggestive.
That's what whoever said. Somebody done said it, and I'm the one to say it out loud. So sorry, everyone.
Do you stay do you stay away from the verbiage when you place the stencil? Like, how does that placement feel?
Right?
That's
I'm like, you know what? I'm actually like a piece of shit, and I'll literally ask people. I'll be like, "Do you like that?" And they'll be like, "Oh my god, it hurts." I'm like, "Isn't that the best thing you've ever felt?" And they're like, "I hate you so much."
That's hilarious.
But yeah.
back to Haunter questions for at least a couple minutes here. Are there any musical elements you would love to pull over from emo, pop punk, or metal that maybe you just haven't been able to find a way to work them in yet?
Oh man, I'm sure there's like 1,000 things that I can think of. I always make the joke all the time when we're writing basically any song. I'm sure they're sick of me saying it, but I'll be like, "Wait for the sick breakdown, bro," because it's like, and I'm just like, "Wait for the breakdown," and I make that a joke. But I'm like, I will say on the upcoming songs that we'll be releasing, there's some stuff on there, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But not until next year. So we literally, y'all just
There's some
gotta keep
stuff on there.
it because I'm telling you, they sassy, they sassy, like that kind of sassy. So I'm I'm very excited for City Boys and Pretty Girls is like the start of it being kind of like sassy and like poking fun at people and stuff, and then it just keeps getting like worse, but like in a great way, you know. So we're getting
Man, I can't wait.
our balls are just steadily developing into like these huge melons now. So as time music is just like getting more and more ridiculous in like a couple of different directions. But I can't wait for y'all to hear those because it's just yeah. City Boys is the start of it, and then it just keeps getting funkier from there. So we're gonna get real funky next year.
Yeah, I'm excited. I definitely think that we're on the path to tell I won't say like a story, but like there's definitely a body of work, and there's going to be like different vibes like this. I think this is the kind of the start where we were blending some of the pop with some things that may end up sounding a little bit heavier by the time they're done. And then when the things that Lucy is kind of like teasing, like when those things come around, like that's I think it's gonna be really cool.
It's crazy. I want to just like send y'all all the songs and be like, just listen now. But I know they're like hates that I'm the one. I just want to show everybody. I'm like, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
You want to hear it? I'll show you. Don't tell nobody. But I stopped doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, thank God. Because so I'm far. It's weird. Like I'm far too precious with our music. Like I'm far too precious. Like even people that I date, like don't hear the songs until they're out. Like I'm that guy, and it's only because like you only get one time to make that impression.
Yep.
So I'm like, I really want someone to hear it in the way that we intended. So I care a lot about how it's presented. So
Yep.
there are times where I may be, Captain Buzzkill, but there's a reason for it. It's because like I know that like if we send it out to all of our friends, like well before the song comes out, by the time we ask those same people to re-engage and start streaming it, like they're like, oh, I've already heard it. I don't want to give a shit anymore,
Right.
But if we can collectively get them like all at one time to be like, oh wow, this is fucking sick. They start sharing it, their friends start sharing it, like it creates that momentum. So I try to make sure that like outside of like press contacts and industry contacts that no one else hears the song before it's time to put it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I stopped doing that, thank God. So it was only with the first couple songs because I was so excited, and then I was like, oh, I should probably just like not tell literally everyone. It's just because I love it. Lesson learned there. Definitely lesson learned.
Yeah, it's all about that surprise and delight.
I
So
like surprises, but
surprises are good. and I'm kind of curious, especially with the different musical backgrounds you've had, and I feel like the music scene is ever changing, especially, I think a lot of people, even back in the early 2000s, were secretly emo kids, even though they didn't necessarily show it. Actually, I have my 20-year high school reunion coming up, and a bunch of people are like, "Oh, we need such and such on a playlist." I was like, "You are into that? Like what?" Um, I'm kind of curious. Have you noticed a certain I don't know, like person that would be normally pulled toward a different genre of music finding your music and maybe where it's unexpected or
I will say I've had a bunch of course, most of my friends are like, so it's cool to show them this stuff that we put out, or I'll send them a video once, it's released and everything. And now that I've learned that lesson, so when I to them, I'm always, expecting them to be like, okay, like whatever, and they'll be like, bro, what the fuck? I didn't know you could sing, like just like they're about it, like they fully support. And these people are in like technical progressive like death metal or black metal bands or whatever, and they're like, dude, this is sick, and it's just really cool to see like that amount of people that are like so heavy into their lane, their genre, and like honestly really like only that lane most of the time. So it's been crazy to have like the amount of support from, you know, my friends, and then other people online that are of course like in the heavier side of things, be so supportive. Like I've got a friend Ricky from a band of Sulfur, if y'all have heard of them before. It used to be a band called Suffocate with a K back in the day. And I, would send these songs to Ricky, and he's like, "Dude, this shit is phenomenal." And this is coming from someone who just all the time, you know what I mean? So just to hear, and now I'm friends with Ricky. I was just a huge fan of him, like for 15 years or whatever, and then we've become friends within the last, I don't know, 3 years or something like that. But even the bigger people that are like doing really well in the metal industry that I'm good friends with, that are like on tour with huge bands all the time, or have joined those huge bands that I used to look up to, they're all very supportive, and it's crazy to think that they would be, because I thought they would be like lame, but like, where's the breakdown, like I'm always saying. But yeah, it's crazy. Everybody's been really supportive from like all different, even my clients that do like my tattoo clients that have a few rappers, and they're like, dude, this is sick. So it's all over the board. People are like very supportive. So I'm surprised, like just because I think that they're gonna be kind of closed off to it, because it is very, poppy and like upbeat and fun or whatever. Like, we're cute, oh, but they love it. They're like super into it. So I'm like, I love that all these people that were like corpse paint and shit are just like, dude, your songs are so good. It just blows my mind. I love it. I love it.
I mean, we all have our like secret sides. Chris would say my secret side is when I get upset or something, I listen to Atreyu.
Oh, I love a trick, dude. Oh man, don't get me started. That
every
was my
time
hit.
every time I give her bad news or like something that like I think she's gonna be mad about, I'm like, oh, I can hear your CD tray loading the curse right now.
Oh man.
But I mean, I love pop
Yeah.
stuff. I love heavy stuff. I mean, I love a lot of stuff. I mean, I like to be well-rounded for the most part,
And luckily, that's all of us too. Like, we all listen to everything, and I mean, I'm like a huge fan of like '90s hip hop and like jazz. So that says anything. I'm just like all over the place, really. So
Dude, 90s hip hop was the jam though.
there's some real lyrics, dude. Like the
That's when
con.
actually I say hip hop was like good then. I don't know that I like a lot of rap now. I feel like the lyrics just aren't there.
I'm gonna agree with that, and I'm not saying that there's no new hip hop that exists that isn't similar, that doesn't hit those same, points like lyrically or whatever. But yeah, the like mumble rapping and like the, oh my god, Enoma, what was that song? I'm like gonna call this dude out on this freaking podcast right now. They're first hip hop song I've ever heard in my entire life, and it was like on the actual radio here, and I was like, I don't understand like how these things get so popular. I mean, it is what it is, but
Was it being on jet skis with naked bitches?
no, oh my god. What was it dude?
Oh,
I wish I could remember what it was. He's like, it's called like Boss Like Me or something like that. He's like, you want to be a boss like me? You gotta get in the game, and it's just like all off time. It's just horrible. I was like, who produced this shit? So I can definitely agree with you. It literally is the worst song I've ever heard. Like so bad to where I immediately wanted to do content of like me reacting to the worst song I've ever heard. But I'm not gonna hate on another artist like that because I'm sure he's very proud of it. I'm sure he's made a lot of money off of it. So I was like, I'm not gonna stir that pot, but the pot should absolutely be stirred.
Hey, you know, I always
yeah,
say
you're like,
each their own.
Yeah, I had to let it be. I was like, nah, if I'm not making a video supporting something, I'm just gonna keep my little opinion to myself, because it is what it is. But yeah, the lyric content and like just the repetitiveness is just like sickening. I'm like, dude, talk about something real. And if it's a bop, like, and it's just a song to like bop to, like, make sure you're on time with the beat, bro. Like, I can rap better than them, and y'all may or may not find that out pretty soon. But yeah, these dudes don't know how to stay on time, ride the beat like a wave. They're just like bouncing on it. They're like, okay, what's happening next? Like, it's a 4/4. You couldn't keep up with it. You confused, buddy. Like, you need some help. Like, it ain't that hard. I don't know how they get so confused, but anyway, yeah. Definitely 90s hip hop is like my shit. I love the lyric content and actually talking about things that matter. So I'm glad we're on the same page.
Definitely.
Oh Lord. I'm like, don't get me started on the new hip hop because I'll go off. Oh.
see, here's the thing. Like, I like a lot of like new stuff. Like, but you have to know where to look to find it. Like, I mean, if you look at just like mainstream stuff, then yeah, it's not. Some of it's great. Most of it's just escapism. It's all just hype shit. It's a good time. Like, but there are still people who are doing stuff of substance. So like that, those sort of artists, like those are what I call generational artists. Like, they're going to be around a lot longer than a lot of the flash in the pan sort of like, all right, I'm the new trending sound on TikTok type stuff. And that's not a dig at TikTok or someone writing a viral moment. It's just there's levels to it. So even in the emo scene or the pop punk scene, like or anything in rock music, like there are generational artists that will just constantly either reinvent themselves or like continue to do the thing that they're known for really well, so that it continues to like engage and be relevant. And there's always going to be like the artists that are just like, okay, I get what you're doing. Like, there's kind of in reference to what we're talking about with City Boys, like there are people who ride kind of like the moment. So if there's a sound that's really popular, like I know for a little bit, like the metalcore hip hop stuff. Like, now don't get me wrong, I love it because it combines two things that I fucking love. I love hip hop and I like metalcore. So there's a lot of bands that do it really well. There's also a lot of bands that don't do it well and should probably stop. But like when it's done right, like it feels really good, and you just kind of know. So it's not to dig on anyone or to kind of throw dirt on anyone's name, but it is really like, you gotta, if you're gonna do it, like commit to it, dare to suck, and really just, I don't know, just lock in. Like it sounds super cliche, but if I wasn't with a band as talented as the one that I'm in now, or work with the producer that I have, I definitely think that it would take a little bit longer for us to get to the point that we're at. But we've been very fortunate to kind of have a pipeline that just helped us kind of get our songwriting chops up at a really expedited pace. It's been cool to see.
I'm a bit curious by a little bit where this conversation led. So what is a musical interest of everyone that's currently sitting here right now? that people would be surprised to know that you're into.
Mm.
I'll share mine. I'll start with mine. I love Edith Piaf. She was a French singer in the 30s and early 40s. I found her when I was researching my grandfather's World War II unit. And it was said that the American troops, when they liberated France, they were soothed by her voice and they found peace in her music at a time of chaos.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Her rendition of La Vie en Rose is so beautiful. It's my favorite one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love her.
And unfortunately now they just shove it in every car commercial.
Oh, yeah. Seem like vain, I would say Ella Fitzgerald. Like, I love Ella Fitzgerald, like, hugely. And Patsy Cline, bro, like, fuck me up with some Patsy. You know, I'm like, who hurt you, Patsy? All your songs are sad. And I just like, who did it? You know, who broke her heart? I need to know. It makes me upset. Like, who could do this? But yeah, Ella Fitzgerald is probably like one of my biggest inspiration vocally. So I love her to death. And I don't think a lot of people know that. So definitely would say her. She's like my top for sure.
I think for me, I don't think people would be super surprised by anything. I do listen to a lot of different music, but I've really developed a soft spot for like, I guess I can call it indie pop, because there's like bands like Now. There's this artist Willow Kane from the UK that I literally sent Lucy a track of hers, I think earlier this week. That, and it's weird. I'm finding these bands on like TikTok of all places, and it's like, I keep either seeing the video or I keep hearing the hook, and I'm like, oh, this song is, it's starting to get stuck in my head. I go and I pull up their discography. I'm like, okay, cool. There's a body of work here, but so yeah, like, but it's all like solo artists, and it's weird. Like, I've been really trying to find like alternative pop is really kind of where I'm finding a lot of like cool sounds and textures and things that will ultimately make their way into some of the future Haunter songs. But yeah, an artist that I discovered recently, her name is Amelia Moore. Like she's crazy good, like beautiful voice. Like, so it's very like Blue Eyed Soul. It has like some tenets of like, I would say, more recent sort of hip hop, but it's very sultry. Like her voice, like when she goes on, her runs are sick. Her runs and her falsetto are like top notch stuff. So I've enjoyed just like going through her discography and kind of like diving in super deep. So I love her, Willow Kane. Those are probably the two artists right now that I'm really like locked in on.
Now, just because you mentioned alt pop, have you heard of either Senses or Charlotte Sands?
Yes, yes, and yes. One loves Charlotte Sands, but Senses are the homies. What's kind of fucked up is like literally I have their trucker hat that says emo friendly. It's like I wear it literally every day. I was going to wear it for this podcast, but I left it in my car. I was like, I don't have time to go grab it. But yes, we love ourselves some Senses. We were very fortunate to so I met them when they were in town on tour with Charlotte. And you know, I've met Charlotte a handful of times, so I definitely don't think we're friends, but like friendly enough to where like if she sees me, she'll know that like, oh, I know who you are, I know your band. But I met Senses that night, and then we had just kind of stayed in touch, or like, and when we were in LA, Lucy came in, and I was like, oh, it would be really cool for us to just kind of like hang out, go to lunch, grab a drink, like just kick it. And we had the most amazing Sunday hanging out with Maddie and Nick and all their friends. Like it was so affirming. I can't say enough good things about them. We absolutely adore Senses.
We adore them too.
Yeah, they're literally the best.
We did have him on I'd say quite a long time ago. I don't know when that was anymore.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
February, something like that.
Glad to hear
See, and
that.
that's how I know we're on the right track. Because like if it's something that they're doing, like I'm like, all right, cool. Like this just affirms that like we're in the right circles to kind of make stuff happen. Because I just can't say enough good things.
Yeah, they're great. Honestly, we had literally, it was like literally, I'm not gonna lie, one of the best days I've had in a long time hanging out with them. We all immediately got along, and we're like drinking margaritas and just like talking about band stuff. Just like we was all girls for a Sunday, so it was so nice. It was so nice. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. The girlies were out in WeHo that day, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. I'm not gonna lie. Take me back.
Yeah. Yes, my God, yes. Like what's funny is I literally was talking. I was literally texting with Nick earlier today because they just dropped a new song, and it's so good. And it's I love them. And the cool thing is with them, they actually get some of their songs produced by a really old like homie of mine, Mike. And it's crazy because it's such a small world because Mike and his twin brother Joey, they live out in LA and they're producers and they're doing their own thing and they're blowing up and getting these amazing opportunities. So for me, like it's such a full circle moment because like not only do I love like Mike and Joey, but now I'm seeing one of their bands that they've worked on, and I'm like, oh my God, they're the best people. You're the best people. Like we have this huge, we're fortunate enough to have a network going now in LA to where we have friends to hang out with, things to do, and so it really is starting to feel more like a second home. And we're now getting to know people who get it, like another group of people who are just like, we get the struggle, we get the grind, we get the hustle. Y'all are sick, keep going. Like it's so affirming and yes, sense yes.
Right. Mark, we didn't forget about you. What's your secret surprise musical artist interest?
So my buddy showed me this band the other day. I had never heard of them. They're called Wet Leg. And it was kind of different. Like some of the lyrics were kind of different. And I want to say they were from like the UK or something. But it was just very different. But like all of their songs just jam. Like the whole time you're just like,
I'll
yeah,
go look. I will
yeah,
not.
this is good. Here, I'll send y'all one.
Yeah, because I gotta hear that. I will say, did y'all know that it's 8:52 right now? My phone. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
No, we know. Chris and I are talking on the side. He's like, it's
Yeah.
getting a little late here.
Yeah, I'm East Coast, so it's almost
East
10 for me
Coast.
right now.
Oh,
That word.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Wisconsin and he's in New York, so.
Oh, sick, nice. We all in Houston, baby. Well, he's usually in Houston, but he in Oklahoma now. So, but appreciate y'all having us on. This was a good little chatty poo. Thanks for having us.
Well, we're not done yet.
Yeah.
Locked in.
Almost though.
We're almost done. Don't worry.
No
So-
worries.
If y'all could collaborate with any artist or band, who would you choose and why?
I'm gonna say Halsey for me. I would love to do something with Halsey. I just feel like with the attitude and like my voice is more of like a raspy, like powerful thing. And she's got like this little mousy like thing. I just think our two voices together with like just hella style. Oh my God. I think it would explode if we did a song together for sure.
what you gotta know?
There's so many that I want, and a few that I've been able
came
to.
to my head.
No, go for it.
Jay-Z.
Ooh, okay, I could see that a little thriller action, like be a Fall Out Boy. I could rock that.
I think it could work out.
I mean, on some of the newer tracks, yes, I actually do think that could work out, which would be so tight. I would literally never shut up about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. For me, you know what? I'm just gonna go with my first thought, and I think I would love for us to do a track with lights.
Okay.
Ooh,
Like that would be really cool. And the thing is, like, I feel like I could pull this off. Like, I feel if we write the right track, I think now more than ever, I could probably get it to her and at least have her seriously consider it.
yeah.
Like, so it's in my head. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time. I was like, yeah, to get lights on the track, that would be top. If not her, well, one, I want to make that happen. So I'm just speaking it into the universe right now that at some point within the next few years we will have a track with lights. But as far as other dream collaborators, I would love to get a song with churches. Like, if that would be insane. And then, ooh, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of keep going down this Tyler Smith train. I'm gonna say I Prevail.
Oh man,
Like,
that'd be
if I could get Brian or Eric on one of our, like, again, nothing that's too, don't get me wrong, that's a huge Hail Mary sort of type thing. But if we grow and we blow up and we get to a place where it's like, okay, there's more brand recognition, I think I can make a case for it.
I think that would be
And
so.
if that would be fucking sick. Whew, the ideas are the wheels are turning. My brain is going a million miles an hour now. I'm like, how can I make this happen? Because if nothing else, I'm good with like dreaming big and being like, fuck it, I'm gonna swing for the fences. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna definitely give it a shot.
Well, if you make I Prevail happen, send them our way too.
I will make I'll make every effort to make that happen because that'd be a good fucking get.
It would be. It would be. Well, our very last and most important question. We are trying to normalize this question. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, mine is real weird. It's like an evil dolphin. It's called an ichthys. And it's just like an evil dolphin with like a million teeth and like a very long snout instead of like a short one. So it's basically like what dolphins came from. It's called an ichthyosaur. So there's that.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, they look crazy.
Also, can we just all take a second to realize that she had that chambered and ready? Like, there wasn't like a thing like I have to think about this. It was like, no, bitch, I know this. Like, right off the rip.
That's because more people are into dinosaurs than people realize.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, definitely. So sorry, not sorry.
No, I think it's fucking dope. It was just kind of like you said that. I was like, that's a weird thing to know a lot about.
I just remember from being a kid, it's like a demon dolphin, and I was like, that's sick. What about you, Noma?
Oh man, see, I'm gonna be super basic because I don't really know a ton about dinosaurs, but I would say an Allosaur is probably the favorite because it's like it's similar to a Tyrannosaurus, but it's not quite like what people know as like raptors. It's sort of this weird in between, but it's like massive, carnivorous, like just beast of a dinosaur. So I don't know much about them, but I do know that one, and I was like, oh, that name is sick. So that's the story. I'm sticking to it.
What about you?
For me, it's definitely the Velociraptor. We're both kind of small. We're both kind of agile,
Very fast.
and we're both kind of weird, you know. So it kind of
Yeah.
all fits together.
And incidentally, you both have giant blades on your feet, so you're just vicious.
There it
You
is.
saying he has long toenails?
No, I'm just saying he literally duct taped knives to his shoes one day, and it was really
Oh.
weird, but it was very funny. Bizarre
My
thing,
toenails
but
are very
hilarious.
long right now.
Oh, that's funny.
I've been telling myself for a couple days I need to cut them, but I'm out of town, so.
It's just
So
kind
yeah,
of one of those
we've got
things.
the same nails right now too.
No, our dinosaurs. Like,
I've always liked Brachiosaurus, but that's
Good one.
just, I don't know. That's because it's what is different than a Brontosaurus, which I found out wasn't real, but now apparently it is real again. I don't know.
What?
but
Yeah.
they are cool in theory.
And I know Chris's
That was
is
a
an
good question.
ankylosaur, right?
Yeah, we've answered this question so many times. Yeah, it's ankylosaur. There's something about the plated back. You got spikes on the side and a club that can knock someone the fuck out.
Yeah, he comes prepared.
Yeah.
Right?
Very.
Well,
I would want to.
what?
I'm sorry. No, sorry. It was a throwaway thought. I apologize.
No worries. I was going to say, well, that was our last question. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I'd say just anyone who's listening to this and would love to know more about our band, you can add us on the socials at Haunter Isn't Real. Our website is haunterisn'treal.com. You can find all of our music, all of our videos, everything that you need is right there. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, just type in Haunter Isn't Real, and you will find us. And City Boys will be out on August 23rd, and we're super excited about it. Please comment, tell us if you like it or hate it. But if you hate it, be nice about it. That's it.
Listen to City Boys and Pretty Girls, August 23rd. HaunterIsn'tReal.com or Haunter Isn't Real on all social media if y'all want to follow us. We love you long time. That is all. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad you reached out to us, actually.
Yeah,
It's been so much fun,
Yeah.
actually. We've had a lot of fun on this interview.
yes, me too.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Oh yeah. And whenever we release these next songs, like y'all gotta get us back on. We gotta get your reaction or something because I'm straight up telling you, you're gonna shit your pants. Like you're just gonna shit them. So be prepared.
Oh, man. I'll wear it depends.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Also, sorry about your chair.
I love
Mine's leather. It's easy to clean. It's all right.
There we go. Thank you
It's
guys.
gonna be such a mess.